What makes you think Trump will be able to beat Biden next year when he lost to him last election?
He didn't lose to him. We all know that. If you truly believe that he lost to him, you're still believing the narrative.
Yeah.
You're telling me this and Biden won, campaigning out of his basement.
Yes.
You tell me
Like
that
60 people.
You tell me that Biden got 81 million votes, I'd laugh at you.
Trump brought the evidence to 60 courts. Everyone rejected him. The DOJ,
Because it didn't hurt people. That's where it comes from.
The DOJ, the FBI, Bill Barr, people in his cabinet all say there's not enough evidence to overturn the election, and it seems like there's a convenient excuse every time I bring that up. So,
You say illegal judges?
illegal judges?
Judges. Ones who are so one-sided.
Wait a minute, though. A lot of those judges were appointed by Donald Trump.
Well, but he, just like Barr.
Bill Barr turned on him.
Bill Barr is part of the problem. There's that uniparty establishment that is providing this income and this warmongering fear.
Do you watch CNN?
No, I don't really watch news.
What do you want? Where do you get your information from?
George Soros feeds me
Yeah.
information
Right?
straight up.
That's your biggest problem right there. Yeah.
How do you think Donald Trump will be remembered in history?
Well, it depends on who you're asking.
Yeah.
If I ask you, how do you think Donald Trump's going to be remembered in history?
Probably one whole page of the history book where it just says mugshot right there.
Yeah. And that is from your side of the table.
Well, history is usually written by the winners, and Joe Biden won.
Well,
So there for a long time we were called the silent majority.
Yeah.
We're done. That ship sailed because this is where it got us. So
The loud minority? Is that where you are now?
yeah, I'll be a part of that because if that means to get this back into a moral base, absolutely.
Would you vote for Donald Trump if he was still in jail?
Yeah, I'd write him on.
You bet.
I'd write him on.
Yeah. You guys would all vote for Donald Trump if he was
I'd
in
write him
jail?
on the ticket, absolutely.
Socialism?
No, I'm not for socialism at all.
What about the January 6 people still in prison? What do you think about that?
I think that if you tried to raid the Capitol on the day they're certifying the results and overturn no, that's not what happened. They broke windows, they broke glass and tried to
Do
get
you
in.
think it was Trump supporters that broke windows, or do you think it was Antifa dressed as Trump? Because I can wear anything and go anywhere.
So when I show you a video of Ashley Babbitt breaking through a window, you're going to say she's like FBI or what?
No, I would like to see the video.
You've never seen the video of Ashley Babbitt getting shot in the neck?
Yeah, I've seen her getting shot.
And she was breaking
And
through a
No
window.
one prosecuted for that. There was no investigation in that. What about
was
the gentleman
defense.
what about the gentleman this weekend that pulled the fire alarm?
They were defending the people certifying the results from the mob of hundreds of people behind.
It's
event.
Antifa. It was not Trump supporters. I am for sure.
So there's this problem I run into with Trump supporters where any piece of evidence that is presented to them, there's some way to explain it. So when you show them that all of these court cases were lost, with Trump-appointed judges, they say the courts were rigged. You show studies saying voter fraud did not happen. The studies are faked. You have Bill Barr, Mike Pence, and all of the media saying, Trump, you're wrong. You say they're in bed with each other. So any piece of evidence has some sort of explanation for it. Is there any piece that could come out during these trials that changes your mind?
I'm not really sure. I don't see it, and I'm not saying that that I agree with Pence's decisions, but
It's understandable.
I think it's understandable why he made the decisions he made.
It feels like Trump made him decide between the Constitution and a peaceful transfer of power, or thwarting both of those things to get Trump back into office. And Pence made the decision to keep the peaceful transfer of power, right?
And believe it or not, I think that's important.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think we should all think that's important.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
How do you think Donald Trump will be remembered in history, and more specifically his presidency?
One of the greatest.
You think so?
100%, without a doubt. I think what we're going to see him do literally states the best is yet to come.
You think so?
I think he's going to remove a third, if not more, of the federal government. We're going to have taxes sliced.
What do you do if none of this happens and he ends up being prosecuted and goes to jail? Like, what do you do? 'Cause
I don't base things off what hasn't happened.
well, you just said the best is yet to come. Like,
Yeah, you have to have faith in something. You have to have faith that the reality of good is going to succumb the evil.
The insurrection.
of course.
Okay, so what about burning down cities, killing police officers, Antifa, Black Lives Matter?
I can point a few differences out with these. First of all,
Point them out.
Biden's rhetoric surrounding the riots was always, need to stop the rioting, it's not an effective way to communicate. Trump's rhetoric surrounding January 6th was always, go take your country back. Every court, every institution is lying to you.
He said, I don't want to see any violence.
But the totality of his rhetoric leading up to that, the months leading up to it, he says he doesn't want to see violence.
Are you justifying then everything that Antifa and Black Lives Matter did?
No.
It sounds as though you are.
I disagree with them rioting, but
Yeah.
I think Black Lives Matter had some sort of point about the justice system being racist in some way. No, you don't think so?
No, absolutely not. I don't buy in systemic racism.
You don't think so?
At all. No.
Even just, marijuana usage. White and black people use marijuana at roughly the same rates across the country, but black people are arrested and charged at a 4 times higher rate. And this isn't their fault, it's because of a justice system that is tilted. What then happens is that black father is pulled away from their family at a disproportionate rate from white people. The child of that person is therefore affected, and it becomes a cyclical problem where this child doesn't have a father in the home because of the system. And
I agree, it is cyclical.
And then
I absolutely agree.
this child grows
it's because
up
the father's not in the home. And so that child's going to grow up and father children, and they're not going to be in the home. And it's going to continue and continue and
This
continue.
is what systemic racism is, though. It's a cyclical thing that's not the problem of the kid, or not the fault of the kid.
It is not created because of a bias.
You don't
I'm
think
not
there's
going to go off of that. No.
there's no bias in America
Yeah.
when it comes to race. You don't think so?
You're not going to pigeonhole me into that.
So I want to expand on the argument I was making here because it's a really important one and I didn't have enough time with this guy. When Trump supporters think of systemic racism, they often think of a set of laws that exist in the modern day to oppress black people, or they think of KKK members going around oppressing black people. That has never been the definition and it never will be. Just to put it into context, only 2 or 3 generations ago in the 1960s, there were laws on the books like redlining and Jim Crow laws that existed explicitly to oppress and disenfranchise black people. 60 years ago is not that long ago. There are a lot of black people that were directly affected by this, and those people now have kids or grandkids. And you can see how this cycle perpetuates. I think the marijuana example I gave is a really potent one because it shows that even if there are no laws on the books oppressing black people, they're still disproportionately affected due to things like personal racism or institutional racism. Imagine an older judge who spent his whole life in the South. Do you think he would be more or less lenient to a black person who got caught smoking marijuana? On top of that, white people had a 200-year head start to build wealth in America. Every time black people would try, we would literally massacre them. Look up the Tulsa Race Massacre. It's disgusting. All of this is to say that it's very naive for this guy to think that just because black people were made equal in the 60s, they should be able to catch up despite white people having a 200-year head start. Another theme throughout this video that I tried to point out while I was on the field is that Trump supporters have a convenient excuse for everything. No matter how many court cases Trump loses, all of the courts are rigged. No matter how many of Trump's old allies come out against him, all of his allies are now a part of the deep state. Even when the topic of January 6th came up, they immediately said, oh, all of those people who walked from Trump's rally were FBI and Antifa. It's incoherent and it's lazy. If you made it this far, leave a blue heart, like the video, and subscribe with the notification bell on. Also, I'm now a collaborator with Midas Touch, so if you go over to their channel, you'll see me on there a lot. Thank you and have a great day.